Good morning, my beautiful friends. I was not going to do a podcast episode this morning. I actually said to myself, don't do any podcast today because I'm about to go to Bali in less than 2 days' time. I've got today and tomorrow to get the last things organized, tidy up some things for work. I haven't even started packing yet, and I leave at like 2:30 a.m. We're kind of leaving on Saturday morning, and I wasn't planning on podcasting, but some amazing insight has come through to me, and I know why it's come through to me now. It's all happened because I'm about to go to Bali in 2 days' time. And even though I go as the leader, I go as the guide, I go as the teacher, I always shift. I'm there to serve. I'm always there to serve, but something stirs up and something shifts inside me every single time I go. And this time last year, something big came about where we moved house when I come back, and it kind of started just before I moved. Went unbeknownst to me, did some big shifts in Bali, come back, and a lot of lessons unfolded, and this house unfolded, and I literally course corrected the path of my life after that trip. And the same thing has happened to me right now. I've got this stirring within that there is something bigger inside me coming, that there is more of my purpose. I feel more confident. You would have heard the last couple of episodes that I've shared around how my car died. There's no coincidence that literally died just before I'm about to go to Bali, just before I can feel some shifts coming. I had a big shift with that whole car episode. And I feel like that is ready. It's kind of planted a few seeds for me, ready to go into this next season of my life. And something that happened to me in the last 24 hours the last couple of days this week actually has happened. And I know that this has stirred something up inside me just before I go to Bali again. It's basically like a clearing, an ending, a clearing, ready to go into a new season and ready for some growth. I've had some big lessons that have unfolded these last couple of days, and some of my own stuff that I really needed to look at. And looking at your own stuff isn't easy, girls. Like looking at the human part of us and how we can react, how we can feel, what we can think, what we can believe. This is a lifelong journey of course correcting. It's a lifelong journey of shifting, of removing some of those blocks, removing some of those layers, working through some of those things that we need to work through that are keeping us stuck and that are holding us back from stepping into more of our potential and for more of our growth. And that is our soul's journey, is to be here in this human experience to grow, to evolve, to change, because nothing stays stagnant in our life. We're always constantly shifting, changing, evolving, and growing. And it's when we can get complacent, when we can get stuck in the past or stuck in we just don't move, we don't do any work on ourselves, that we can get, it comes up in feelings of frustration, depression, like all these emotions that we feel, because it's hard looking at ourselves. It's hard looking deep within. It's hard admitting maybe we were wrong, or admitting that we have work to do, or admitting that, some actions that we've taken in the past have not served us, or we've made mistakes, or we failed, or all of these things that we sit with. It's okay. Like, this is part of our journey, and it's shaping us to be part of who we are. And what has come up for me the last couple of days? So I had a women's circle on Tuesday night. I'm not in the studio today, it's Thursday, so often a day where I will immerse myself in creative work or admin. And I was planning on really getting organized for Bali. And then yesterday I went to a networking event. And it stirred a couple of things up in me, which I want to share with you today. So let me take you back to Women's Circle. So Women's Circle, I did something that I haven't really done before. I basically went in without a blind. Like, I went in, I knew the theme, I knew what I wanted to teach, but I kind of went in a bit blind in terms of I would usually do up a like a booklet or a guidebook, or I'd have notes on what I want to share with the community. The booklet kind of helps keep me on track, and it makes me, this is what I thought in my human limited ego mind, was I won't forget anything if I kind of write it down in the notes. It's all covered, it's kind of outlaid for the girls. The girls have got something to take away with them. And I had this feeling of, in this circle, I wanted it to be more like an experience. So I've leveled up, as you would have heard. We all level up in certain ways. And I have grown in a few of those situations that I've told you in these last few episodes. And I thought, I want to guide the girls through more of an experience in this women's circle. I want to teach them how to use Palo Santo. I want them to journal a lot, spend a bit more time journaling and in meditation, do a bit of a longer meditation experience for them to bring up what needs to come up in them. So not actually teach so much, but teach through the experience of what they feel. So what I did differently was I went in with literally no notes, and I went, I'm just going to be divinely guided and go with my intuition. And then what happened, so it was an amazing circle. I really loved it. I got a lot of great feedback from the girls afterwards. But at the time, I I went through the circle. I felt like what I delivered in the moment, I can't even remember. It's like sometimes when you channel things, or when you're sitting in this real deep spiritual connection, or this real deep connection with source, or in this moment of energy with all of these people, I can't even remember what comes out of my mouth. If I was to look back, I can't remember everything that comes up. But I felt the energy of that circle. And in the past, I would have meditations written down. So these are not meditations I get from anywhere else. They're meditations that I would go through. So I would go through a meditation experience at home myself, where my soul would just take me there. And then I would think, that was amazing. I need to share that with my girls. I'd run to my computer. I would type it all out. I would recreate it in my, from what I remembered, and I would literally write it out word for word, and speak that out in the meditation. This night, I didn't do that. I kind of knew that morning of circle. I said, okay, spirit guide, source God, what songs do I need to play with the girls in circle? What journey do they need? And give me a bit of an insight as to the journey that I'm going to take them through. So what happened was I hit shuffle I've got this big meditation playlist, and this meditation playlist, it's not traditional meditation music, as in it's not all like really calm, relaxing music. Some of the music in this playlist is like tribal music, is kind of, it stirs something up within your soul, shamanic drumming, like all this kind of different music, right? And some of it's like Indian, like mantras, and I've just got them all in there, and I hit shuffle. There's like 6 hours worth of material in there, and I hit shuffle. 2 songs come up. I quickly saved them into like a little women's circle playlist, and went, okay, I'm going to go and share that with the girls, and I'm not going to write out the meditation. I'm just going to tune into what comes up. So I took them through this very different meditation experience, and I drove home. And I thought to myself, the doubt starts kicking in, right? The fear starts kicking in. The oh my God starts kicking in. Was my circle good enough? Did the girls get out of it what they needed? Did I touch on all these kind of points? Like all these things come into my mind as I'm driving home, which come from, did I do a good enough job? Did people get out of it what they needed? It comes back to, I want that reassurance, or I want that validation, or I'm looking for that, I guess, that confirmation from people that they got out of it what they need, because I want to do a good job, right? I want to serve people. I want to really bring out something in them that's going to help them. And I know from experience that sometimes people can feel something in the moment, or sometimes it might come up for them, because this is what happens to me, and I know it happens to other people. Sometimes it might come up for them like in a day later, or weeks later, or kind of down the track where they didn't expect it. I had women saying, like they left and said, oh, I just feel lighter. I feel light. I go, okay, that's a really great thing. But anyway, I drove home doubting on myself, or questioning myself, or just wanting that kind of reassurance. And I did get some beautiful messages, really powerful messages the next day, which was like, that was amazing. When I got home, I walked in and I was chatting with Riley, and she was worried about something. And to give you, like Riley's 20, she's about to turn 21. And there's parts of her that I know are so deep and are so She's just got some really beautiful abilities within her. There are parts of her that can come across like a typical 20-year-old girl that can be a bit blunt, can be a bit like, sometimes I'm like, my God, Riley, why do you have to be such a bitch to me? We butt heads, we argue, like there are times she'll be like, don't bring that sage into my room, that stuff stinks. And there's times that we kind of argue about certain things, or there's times that I think to myself, like I just want to help the kids so much, and she argues against me, and I think to myself, is she taking on anything that I'm trying to teach her? But I look back and go, well, remember what I was like at that age. She is way wiser, way more confident, way more powerful than I was as a 20-year-old woman. And I know we butt heads, but I know deep down things are sinking in, so I just have to keep going. She goes to me, she told me of a situation that she's worried about, and just somebody that she's concerned about. And she said to me, I said to her, babe, do you want to pull a card? She goes, yes. So she pulled a card, read it, had a chat with her about it. And then I said, okay, cool. I'm just going to go out and ground. Every time I come back from circle, I like to go out and ground. And she said to me, when you ground, can you, because I said to her, before that, I said to her, just send him love, send him that feeling of, ask for your Ulpa or his grandfather or angels or whatever it is, send them love and protection, and just keep him safe, and just send him healing energy and send him love energy, like that feeling of love. And then I said, I'm going to go out and ground. She goes, can you do your energy work for him? Can you send him to all of those things? Can you go do your stuff? I said, yeah, babe, I'll go and do it. And I walked away from there and went, oh my God, I've been sitting in circle doing all of these things with the community, doing all of these things with people, really standing in my power. And I've come home and I've seen how something different in my child, and something more, it's almost like I know deep down she accepts what I do. I know that she loves it, but she resists it because they're dealing with, as we all do, that battle between ego and soul, that battle between living in this 3D reality, but knowing there's more on that 5D soul-based reality. And I walked away from that and I was like, oh my goodness, like it's sinking in. I just need to keep working on myself. And something that I've did in circle has really brought something out in her that night. And we sat down after I went and did my grounding. I come inside and I laid down with her in bed, and we chatted about all these amazing things, and we just had this really beautiful soul connection. And it just made me understand how powerful it is, girls, doing the work on ourselves. And there's times where you feel like it's not working, but it is. There's times that you're looking for validation, or you're wanting approval, or you're wanting feedback, and you might not get it, but just keep going anyway, because what you're doing is impacting other people in their life. It's helping the collective, it's helping your family, it's helping people. Then what happened, I was thinking to myself this morning, I got up and I was thinking how I just started randomly thinking about Riley's tattoos, and like she has got a tattoo of angel wings. It's not my logo angel wings. She's got some angel wings. She's got 111 tattooed on her. She's got these beautiful symbols down her spine. She's got divine feminine tattooed under her breast. She's got like she got the words out of a card I wrote her that said my angel, or forever my angel. She got my angel tattooed across the back of her neck. There's some really deep, powerful symbolic. She's got a butterfly. There's some really deep, powerful symbolic messaging in her tattoos that I just know it's going to bring something up in her. I know that they are part of her journey. And then this morning I was thinking about her tattoos this morning and thinking about how significant they are for her. And then I went out this morning out to my go out to my spiritual practices, about to pour my raw cacao, and I see this big A4 sheet of paper with a note written on it and said, I pulled a card for you. And there was the card lying there with this brand new deck, which I'll talk to you about in a moment, with this beautiful deck. And it's like medicine heart, and it's got a picture on the front of like tribal Indian kind of eagles and wolves and bears. Beautiful, beautiful cards. Shamanic wisdom of the divine feminine. And I looked at the card and I looked at the letter and I thought, oh, Riley's pulled me a card. Wow, that's amazing. And then I looked closer, I turned on the light and a little bit clearer, and I went, that's my husband's writing. Holy shit, what the actual fuck was what went through my mind? Tom's pulled me a card. And I'm going to go into the journey of the relevance of this card. And the relevance of this was the first card in my deck. So I just got this deck yesterday and I was going to pull them this morning, and he's pulled the first card in this deck for me, and I'm like, "Oh my God." I was in tears because there's a part of me that went, by me showing up and working on myself and being that wise, strong, intuitive, feminine rock in the household, it's rippling out into all of my family. There's areas in Brock, I see it all the time as well, in his strength, in his like free spirited trust that he has. And and I just see so much of what I'm doing is helping my family. And actually, I'm going to do a whole episode on that. I'm going to do a whole episode another time, because I've had a couple of women chat with me in the studio these last couple of days around husbands and around, yeah, I'm going to do another episode on that. I'm not going to dive into that now. But what I said to Tom yesterday, so this card that he pulled me, which I'll share a little bit of in a moment, was so freaking symbolic of how I was feeling yesterday. And this is what I want to dive into in this episode. So at this networking event that I went to yesterday, and I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth at the moment, but I'm just going to be real and raw and honest with you guys, okay? So I went to this event and a couple of significant things happened where Tom said to me when I got home, he said, "How did everything go?" I said, "It was amazing. Like, it was so beautiful. It was amazing, just seeing how it all come together. It was amazing, the beautiful woman that pulled it all together, and just seeing how far she's come on her journey." And I messaged her that yesterday, and but I said to him, I said, I felt so disconnected from people. I felt so much on the outer, but I felt so connected, if that makes sense. Like, part of me on a soul level, on this collective level, because we're all one, we're all connected, I felt so, it was amazing. But there was a part of me from my ego perspective that felt really disconnected, because I'm going to take you back a couple of years ago. I spoke about it. My very first episode was around my own inner base camp. And a couple of the girls that were there yesterday, I was supposed to do base camp with them. And I felt this need to share with them, like, why I didn't go, why I kind of pulled out of base camp, and how I went on my own journey as a loner. We were kind of going to go and do this event together. We were going to go and embark on this journey together, and I pulled out because of that whole story around when my hair started falling out. I realized that I think it's connected to my implants. I need to get my implants out. And I reclused for a couple of years, and I really took, well, it wasn't intentional for a couple of years. I went by myself a little bit to go through this process of surgery, go through this process of healing. But it was one of the most biggest, profound shifts in my life, where I went from ego to soul, how the implants represented that ego part of me, to soul. And that whole journey taught me to trust in myself. And that whole journey really brought me to where I am now. And then what happened, like, we then stumbled across this house unfolds. Then I went through another period of 6 months of hibernation, getting my family resettled, working on this house, that kind of this year I felt like, all right, it's time for me to I've done the work behind the scenes, I've hibernated behind the scenes, and it's time for me to get out there again and grow, and in another way, and do what I'm supposed to do with my calling. However, I felt really disconnected sitting there yesterday. Like, I feel like I've been on this kind of path, like a bit of a loner almost, and going out into this beautiful place where we live now. I said to Tom, I got to be careful I don't become a hermit out here, because it's so peaceful, but it's very disconnected from what I was used to in the suburbs. And I love that. I really love that. And sitting there yesterday, I was chatting with a few of the girls around why I didn't go to base camp. Like, almost like I had to tell them. It's almost like I felt guilty for going, and I felt guilty that I'd let people down. But I felt that that was something that I needed to work through. And a whole heap of stuff come up yesterday where I sat there and I saw a lot of them. We all had to kind of get up and speak, and I saw a lot of them shining in their own unique light. And there were certain things that a couple of us were going to do together that didn't eventuate. And I saw a lot of their connection, or a lot of other connection that I didn't feel a part of anymore, that I felt like they'd kind of evolved in certain friendship groups, and I felt left out because I was a part of that friendship group, and I was kind of amongst it, and we were kind of doing things catching up, going out for dinner and doing things together. And I didn't have that connection anymore. And I kind of felt like, and that's like, no, that just happens, right? Like that just happens. And I kind of look back and there was a few friendships that I had and I felt like, what happened to them? Did I do something wrong? Like when I kind of pulled out on that trip, it's almost like it's almost like I removed myself from a part of what was happening kind of in that group. And I started questioning, what did I do wrong? Were they mad at me? Like, have I let people down? Like, and I started looking at myself, blaming myself for a lot of things and going, did I upset them? Did I make them angry? All of those things. When I realized that I didn't, I realized that we all had to go on our own path. We all had to go on our own journey. And I sat there yesterday watching every single one of them shine. And parts of me over the last few months have looked at people and I almost felt like this little bit of, I guess, jealousy or a little bit of, I'm just going to throw out a couple of situations or a couple of feelings that have come up from me from my human ego mind. Okay. There's been times where I've looked at opportunities I've given people or opportunities of people that have, it's like I've given you this opportunity and then you've kind of left me, or, you know, like you've come into when I needed, you know, like when you needed it, I've kind of given you that head start and then you've gone on your own path. And then I've looked at friendships that I've kind of got to a point where I go, I'm not part of that anymore. I feel left out. I looked at people that I had helped and I planted seeds in them and kind of felt like I didn't really get any not recognition, that's not the right word, but like I feel like I've given opportunities or I've given you stuff for free and I've given all this stuff, but I didn't really feel the gratitude come back, or I've kind of helped plant this seed and then kind of seen where they've kind of gone off on their own path and felt like I've been left behind, or I felt that, you know, there might have been things that I've sparked in people and then they've turned around, they're competing against me if I look at it, doing similar things. And I'm like, now you're my competition. All these things that have kind of stirred up in me, I felt a little bit like that emotion would come up of frustration, or that emotion would come up and like, hang on a second, now you're competing against me, like you're kind of doing similar things and you want to advertise in my groups. Like all of these things were coming up in me over the last couple of, probably throughout the last year, if I'm perfectly honest. And so they've brought up feelings of maybe jealousy, maybe feelings of anger, maybe feelings of betrayal, maybe feelings of being left out, maybe feelings of competing, maybe feelings of being used almost. And I know none of that is true, but the human mind is what would come up in me. And if I'm being really honest with you, I'm telling you this because I'm telling you I'm not perfect. Like I don't have everything. You know, it's not like all this pure radiance of pure peace and love and joy come out of me all the time. No, like I have these human emotions as well, these things that come up in me. They're natural human emotions that we go through. They're natural states of, they just happen. Like they're just natural things that happen to each and every one of us. And so sitting there yesterday and just feeling a little bit on the outer, I guess, two other things happened. I had a chat with a woman that I met at another networking group a couple of months back. And she said to me yesterday, she's an older, very wise woman. Man, she's been through some stuff. Very, very wise woman. And as soon as I sat down, she was behind me. She tapped me on the shoulder and she said, I'm so happy to see you again, beautiful. And she goes to me, she said, you are radiating. I can feel your energy sitting here behind. I can see your aura. You are going places. You are radiating. And then I had a chat with her later and she said to me, she goes, you've had a shift. I can see it in you. You've had a massive, massive shift since I saw you last. And she said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And she just really instilled this feeling of almost like worth in me, or almost like reassurance in me, or this feeling of, I just felt like I was glowing and radiant. I felt that I've had a shift. I know I've had a shift and I've shared that with you. And then to have somebody else who doesn't know me and who's very deep, very spiritual, very connected, see auras and everything, tell me that, it really gave me this feeling of just keep going on your path. Then I was having a chat with with another really powerful healer and leader that was in that space yesterday. And she come and she said something to me, and I've never met her before, and we were chatting, and she said she offered me a really great opportunity. And she said, I don't know why I'm telling you this. I haven't told anybody. And she shared something with me on her path of some changes that she's going to make and some places that she's going to go. And she offered me something. And it doesn't feel like it aligns with what I want to do. But I sat with that and I went, oh my God, there's certain elements of what she offered me I want to do in my own way, right? And for her to say, I haven't told anyone this, but I feel like connecting with you on a really different level. And I see something in you that I see in myself. And she wanted to offer that to me. I walked away and I felt so, oh my goodness, like, oh my goodness. And she shared with me, I was looking at a deck of cards and it was really, really lovely. It was kind of that tribal element of, the Earth Warrior kind of card deck, and she shared with me, I think you should get this card deck. I really think that this card deck would be better for you. And she goes and she shows me this card deck here. And she handed me these cards and I looked at this deck of cards. My feet went on fire. I just felt this kind of tingling through my body, through my energy. And I went, I have to have this deck of cards. And I'm going to read you a little bit out of this card in a moment. But at that event yesterday, I realized as I sat there and I saw a lot of these women and I sat with this morning and I thought, what? Where have those emotions been coming from over the past 6-12 months? Those feelings that I just spoke to you about, where have they been coming from? And what's it highlighting in me? And I sat with that and I thought to myself yesterday, as I saw a lot of those women presenting their story and sharing what they're doing, I sat with it and I thought, it brought up in me a feeling of not so much jealousy, but a feeling of lack, that I'm not moving fast enough, or that feeling of I'm not connected in that circle so much anymore. And it made me feel like it made me feel a little bit on the outer. And then this card that I pulled this morning, which I'll share with you, kind of about this bit of a lone wolf, made me understand why I was part of that picture. And it made me understand, because I honestly, girls, I sat there looking at every one of those women yesterday with so much pride, with so much admiration for what they have done. And I've seen their growth and I've seen their transformation, and it stirred something up in me about maybe I'm not moving fast enough. Why aren't I there yet? So it stirred up in me feelings of lack. Like, why aren't I part of these collaborations? Like, that I probably would have been a couple of years ago, but I've realized I'm not meant to be. I've realized that I'm meant to be the connector. I'm meant to be that spark in people, and that is part of my gift, is to ignite something in people, because I'm a generator by my human design, and I'm here to ignite things in people. I'm here to stir things up in people. And I sat with this morning and I had a really different perspective on it, and I had this feeling that we're meant to be part of each other's journeys. It's just like that season, reason, lifetime, right? Not all, and it doesn't mean like I've not fallen out with anybody by any means. I've not fallen out with anybody at all. I've not had any, there's no, I haven't lost friendships or anything like that. They're just not as close as what they once were, or the collaborations or the things that I thought we were going to do just haven't unfolded. And what I realized was that I was part of the connection. I looked at one of the girls who went on the base camp trek. My God, she's doing amazing things now. And it had been one of her dreams to go to base camp. It had not been one of my dreams. I was going along because I love travel and I thought it would be an amazing experience. I love wildlife. I love getting out in nature. I thought it would be an amazing experience. But then sitting there yesterday, I realized she come through my community, and I connected her with the group that was going, because she wasn't, she wouldn't go by herself. And I've seen the growth that she's had out of that experience. And I was like, I'm so happy that she's had that. I've seen all of the directions that all of these women have taken. And I think to myself, I'm so grateful to be a part of their journey. I'm so grateful whether I've connected them within people in the community, I've connected them with other women, I've ignited a spark or planted that seed of something that might help them, and they've then taken it with their purpose, and they've taken that seed or that little bit of wisdom that I've given them and run with it. And each and every single one of them have done so much work on themselves. Every single one of them, so much work on themselves, so much growth on themselves, within themselves. They've stood in their power. They're shining light. They're shining so brightly into the world. And I sat there and thought, we don't need the validation. We don't need the recognition. We've got nothing to be jealous of. We're not left out. We're not on the outer season, reason, or lifetime. And I sat there this morning with this completely different perspective after saying to Tom yesterday, I felt a little bit disconnected. I now see why. And I now understand the bigger purpose or the bigger part of the picture that I was supposed to be on their journey for. And I've learned things from them. They've all instilled things in me, and I've learned lessons from things that I've taken out of each and every one of them. That has helped me on my journey too. They're a reflection of me in certain ways as I am of them. We're all a reflection of one another. And one thing that one of the ladies yesterday, she's a very deep, powerful healer. And she said to me, she said in the talk yesterday, she said she really spoke on we're all one, like we are all love. And it really reminded me that we're not here to compete. And I know that, but there were certain elements of me that would still see maybe the competition or see this little bit of what I've perceived as a so-called threat or a so-called that little bit of maybe jealousy or that little bit of all those things that I spoke to you about before. And I sat with that yesterday and I thought, there is no competition. And I know that. But sometimes your feelings get the better of you. Your emotions take over and get the better of you. But what it comes down to, girls, is having the awareness to look at where these emotions are coming from and work through the layers and ask yourself the powerful questions. Why am I feeling that way? What's this stirring up in me? Not blaming or looking at anyone else outside of you, but looking at them as a lesson or a reflection or wisdom of something that lies deep within you. And I went home. Tom pulled this card for me this morning, and I picked up this card, and I don't know if you can see, not all of you will be able to see this, but it's a picture. It's called She Wolf of the South. And there is a dark wolf that you can barely see in the background behind the red. And there is a white, beautiful white wolf. Oh my gosh. I was watching Yellowstone last night. This has just come to me now. I've got into Yellowstone, and there's a reason why I've got into Yellowstone. I'll tell you in another episode. And there was a lone wolf in this episode that I saw last night, and it looked exactly like that wolf on the card. Oh, I got goosebumps. And anyway, wow, that just come to me then. There's a deeper message in that episode that I have just realized as well. And I pulled this card this morning. Before I go into the card, I didn't pull the card. Tom pulled me this card. I read it this morning. Tom pulled this card for me last night. After we watched Yellowstone, I went to bed. Tom's pulled this card and left me the note. I took his card. I sat outside. There were eagles everywhere this morning, like eagles like you would not believe were so many this morning. And I sat down and I wrote, I'll get a feeling sometimes that'll just say, pull out your phone, and because I can type really, really quickly, and just type the wisdom that's coming through. So I was sitting with this feeling this morning of the lone wolf, because I looked at the card, but I hadn't read it. And I was feeling of sitting with how I felt like with all of those friendships, or how I can feel a bit disconnected, or how I can feel a little bit on my own sometimes. And I just started writing, and I'm going to share with you what I wrote, because I know that there's something in this that is going to help you. And even if it's one line you take out of it, I know there's something that's going to help you. It said, and I can't control when this happens, right? I just type and I just write and I write and I write, and it's like I have no control over what's coming through. The thought will pour through me, and as quick as it comes through, I've typed it down in my phone notes, okay? It said, you're the way shower, you're the pathfinder, you're the lone wolf, you're the tribal leader, you're in direct communion with the divine, you're channeling us, you're the chosen, you're one of the chosen ones. There are many who are meant to shine their light bright into this world and make a difference. You're one of them. Your daughter is also one, which is why she doesn't connect with loads of people, and she's happy on her own path. Without seeking validation or approval, or fitting in with everyone else. She's here to teach you strength and leadership. She's your guardian angel in human form, sharing this life experience now with you. You'll have a long lifetime experience in human form together. Your family are strong and powerful in their own unique way too. You're all powerful leaders and healers and are discovering that about yourself. I know you can feel alone at times and have felt even more disconnected from friendships and people and even jealous. You need to let that go once and for all and rise above it, because you're not here to be part of the crowd. You're here to lead and inspire the crowd. You're the connector, the missing piece of the puzzle for people, the magic wand that instills their power in themselves and helps them see it. Raise them up to shine bright. And in doing so, you rise stronger, higher, and more powerful than ever before. Let go of those feelings, let go of the jealousy, let go of the emotion, the feeling that you're not good enough when you see people soar or go further ahead than you are. You're not in competition. There is no competition. You have no competition, for you are unique and powerful, and nobody will ever be like you. You don't need to take credit for igniting anyone's spark or disappointment if they leave you, for you've done your job. They are standing in their power because you gave them that start, the belief or the strength, and that's the most powerful gift you can give someone, and you don't need recognition or validity or feedback from it. Sit in humility, rise above it. Know your wisdom is powerful and making a difference. You're the leader, the eagle, the tribal elder, the priestess, lifting up humanity, raising the collective, pushing these baby birds out of their nest. Just keep giving. Even though you feel left behind sometimes, or unrecognized, or at times not being seen, or not seeing the financial instant rewards, you're already abundant, beyond your wildest dreams, and we give you all your desires and opportunities you want. Look where you live. Look what you've been born into. Look at all the blessed life experience that you're living. And that's about to get amplified beyond your wildest dreams. Another shift is coming in Bali. You're ready now to be seen in the world and stand up as the leader we know you are meant to be. We know you believe it and feel it too. We love you, my child, shine bright angel. And then this song come on my playlist, Mama Africa, a really beautiful, beautiful, powerful song. And I sat with that and I wanted to share that with you, because I know at times you feel maybe you give so much, or you might feel like you don't get the recognition or get the validation, or feel jealous of other people's success, or feel people are going further ahead than you, or feel that you've been left out, or feel you're on this lonely spiritual journey. And the spiritual journey can sometimes feel isolated. It can sometimes feel a little bit lonely. You can sometimes feel, and a lot of it come back to, I said to Tom, I said, I feel like some people don't get me anymore because I've changed so much, and I've grown so much, and I feel just I feel different in myself, that I find it harder to relate to things that I might used to have been able to relate to with people. I don't relate to that anymore. And again, it's never from this place of anyone's better than anyone, or it's just different, right? It's just this different feeling and this different energy that you start to feel within yourself. But you need to just be your own leader. You need to just follow your own path and be led by the breadcrumbs along the way, and understand that nothing stays the same, girls. Like, there are people that come into your life for season, reason, or lifetime. There are people that have messages. They're a reflection of you, and there's things that you need to learn from those people. If you just open yourself up to see it, if you ask the right questions, you will get the right answers. And that's what that big, long, a whole page that I wrote out this morning in my phone notes, it all come from, is just asking the question, why have I been feeling this way? Why has that feeling been coming up in me? And then I poured it into my journal. And this week, it's funny, I've got a red top on, and I've just been feeling that I needed to wear red this week. I don't know why. And maybe it come from that root feeling, that kind of deep down chakra of being safe, of being supported, of worth. It all comes down to that kind of nurturing, mothering kind of feeling that lies deep within. And that's been stirred up a little bit in me lately. And I often just wear the colors that I feel I need in the moment. And this card, there were elements in this card that I'm going to share a little bit of it with you, because it's like 4 pages long. I'm not going to read it all out. That speaks about red and leaving the past behind. And this beautiful card, She-Wolf of the South, it said, your past can be a source of beneficial wisdom gleaned through experience, rather than a stifling burden of regret or recrimination. Acknowledge your heroic heart and the strength of your will that has seen you through to this moment. Decide that you will utilize everything that has happened to grow wiser, to heal yourself, to realize your inner strength. Acknowledge the suffering in what has been, but do not allow it to disrupt or dissuade you from your faithful confidence in your ability to live a more beautiful and healed life. And so suffering, girls, suffering doesn't necessarily mean like deep suffering, like somebody's died, or some of the most, inconsolable suffering experiences that you go through in your life. Suffering can come through forms of that feeling that I was saying about being left out or being on the outer. Like suffering can come in so many different ways and can come through in so many different experiences and emotions that you feel, little and big, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be this huge big suffering from loss. It can be just this suffering or this feeling that you have deep within. It also said in this card, in the Divine Feminine Medicine mandala, true north is a symbol for our authentic life direction, and south becomes symbolic of what it leaves behind, the past and all the potential benefit and burden associated with it. The weight of the past does not need to rest upon your shoulders or within your heart. It can become the solid, known grounds beneath your feet that you have traversed, explored, and mined, a series of classes that you've completed in your soul's sacred schooling. Resolving the past is complex work where there is deep treasure to excavate. It takes time, patience, skill, and endurance to complete the harvest. This oracle offers encouragement, heralding the sacred decree of successful closure and fruition of something worthwhile that could not have occurred otherwise. This oracle speaks of the initiation of the South taking place within your soul. This is a process through which you grapple with the past and decide how you're going to work with what has been. And then it goes on about a lot of other deeper things. And it says there will be a clear knowing within when it is time to truly put something or someone behind you, and you have the capacity to do so with compassion, firmness, and a liberating sense of personal freedom. And when I read that, and it spoke in there about the color of red, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I've been wearing red all week. I'm about to go to Bali on retreat, and I'd been saying for a little while now to my husband about some I guess friendships that have gone in different directions. People that have been in my life that, like when I say in my life, like that I would speak to daily, that doesn't happen anymore. And we're still friends. Like there is still friends, but I would say to Tom all the time, what did I do wrong? Or have I upset anybody? And all these feelings that would go through my mind, my heart, and my soul, they kept coming up. And Tom would say to me sometimes, like, why don't you let that go? Like, just, it's okay. You're meant to go in different directions. He's very wise with a lot of things that he would say to me. And I kept holding on to it. And I think yesterday was kind of this feeling of a bit of closure. This card was a feeling of a bit of closure. And going to Bali is going to be another kind of final shift in knowing my own worth and in knowing that my path has just taken a different turn. And what I did this morning, I read that card, I closed my eyes and I sat down, I put on some of my meditation playlist. And it's almost like, I'll share with you a little bit of my vision. And I sat down, and in this vision, it was like I sat down, and it must be all of like the kind of Indian tribal aspect of these cards too. And I swear I was in a past life, I was connected there somewhere. And it's like I sat down in this vision, there was a fire and like this kind of tribal elder in front of me. I then saw my husband and my kids, like my true north. And then what happened was, I felt this feeling of turning around and looking at your path behind, and I saw the path behind, and I saw friendships, and I saw people that had come into my life at certain junctions. And then what I saw in this vision was they've gone off to soar, and they've gone off on their own journey, and they've gone off on there to do their own things, and they've gone off on their own path. And often what can happen with friendships or with people that are in your life for a certain period of time, these might be people that have come to your wedding or been in your path for a really long time, been in your lifetime for a really long time, that nothing goes wrong. Nothing happens, but you just go on your own different journey. You get busy in your own life with your own kids. And that's all that's happened these last couple of years. All of these amazing women that were in my life and I was in their life for a certain period of time have all gone on to do the most amazing things. And I'm so proud of each and every single one of them. And I saw, looking back, I saw like them soaring, and I saw their paths just veering off in different directions. But their paths went then on like this rainbow bridge, like this kind of soaring up into their own unique way that they are meant to go and shine bright in the world. And we were meant to cross with each other's paths for a certain period to help each other, to share ideas, to share community, to share wisdom, to share insight, to share perspective, to share confidence. They gave me so much and I gave them so much. And I wouldn't be where I am without those people that had come into my life. And I know I've helped them on their life path as well. So in my meditation, as I've looked back and I've seen all of these paths going off in their own unique different ways, it's almost like I visualize, like whether it was like ropes or ties, or like pulling back my connection from all of these different paths along the way and kind of pulling it back into myself, almost like cords, like cord cutting, I guess you would say, pulling it back into myself and then turning around and all of those doors closing behind me. And again, like I said, I'm not closing the doors off to those people. Definitely not. But closing chapters of my life and understanding that we're all going on our own beautiful soul path and our own beautiful soul journey. And that before me, as I turned around and I saw this like kind of true North Star, I saw this kind of wolf and my family, and going, this is my direction and I am strong enough now to rise up into my power. And I'm grateful for all of the people that have come into my life. I'm grateful for all the directions that we're going. I'm grateful for all of the lessons that I could see in all of these people, the lessons that they had given me, the lessons that these emotions had stirred up in me. And I choose to let that go. As all these doors behind me closed in this meditation, I understood that everybody's got all of their own unique doors open to their own authentic opportunities, and we will still be in each other's lives, supporting one another, helping one another, going and meeting with one another at different events and things along the way. But we're all shining in our own true North Star and our own unique journey. And that is the most powerful thing, that sitting there and realizing that it's time for me to now let go of the past, be okay with those friendships and where they were at the time and what they served in the time, and know that we don't have to have a million friends. We don't have to have all these, like be in each other's lives all the time. You can have those beautiful friendships. And I know that these friendships are like that, where you cannot see each other for 12 months, but then you can catch up and reminisce, and it can be like old times. Well, not even old times, but you can still rekindle this beautiful friendship. And you're still on your own path, you're still doing your own thing, but knowing that everybody gets busy with their own life, everybody gets busy with their own jobs, their own purpose, their own families, their own children. People go through different stages in their lives as well, with the ages that their kids are at, with what's going on with their children's journey. So if you're feeling like you've been abandoned, if you're feeling like you've been left behind, if you're feeling like friendships or relationships have died off or have come to an end or served their purpose, be okay with that and sit and ask yourself the question, like, what emotions are coming up? Have awareness. How am I feeling? What's this stirring up in me? And if it is this little bit of whatever it is, write it down and ask yourself the question, what do I need to learn from that now moving forward? What did those relationships serve me and how did it serve them? And looking at it from this mutual transaction and looking at people. Like I saw all those girls speaking, and I saw something in them that is within me. So when you look at other people, there is something in them that is possible in you too. There is something in them, even though you might feel like you're not there yet, or people are surging ahead further in front of you. Maybe you've got more work to do in yourself, and understand that things, and that's what happened when I recluse, because I started blaming myself too and thinking I removed myself from a lot of people for that bit of time. Was it my fault? Have I done the wrong thing? I should have called more. I should have connected more. I should have reached out a little bit more. But I look back and I go, I needed that time by myself. I needed that time to heal. I needed that time to see my worth. I needed that time to shift from ego to soul. I needed that time to stand up and rise in my own power and know that I don't need other people to, yes, they help you along the way, but I can do things on my own, and I can stand up in my own light and my own power and shine bright into the world on my own, because I used to rely on a lot of people. I need to do that with them because they're better than me, or they're more experienced than me, or they've got more to offer than me, that I didn't feel good enough in myself, and I doubted on myself, and I didn't feel smart enough or wise enough or strong enough or whatever it was. I had so many feelings of lack, so many feelings of self-doubt, so many feelings of not being good enough, so many feelings of not being worthy enough. And they helped me along the way. And then I realized that all of those qualities that I saw in all these beautiful women were already within me, but I didn't see it at the time. And working with them, healing with them, having friendships with them, help me see that in myself. And I've given them something within themselves that they might not have seen. And that is life. That is what you find with people, with friendships, with relationships, with other people. They're a reflection of you. You can grow from them, you can learn from them, you can heal from them, or you can sit in emotions of betrayal or jealousy or doubt or fear of being left out or being abandoned or being alone or clinging to things. It's time to let that go, girls. It's time to let go of what's been coming up for you in these relationships, and just going, whatever happens, that's okay. I'm content with that. I'm at peace with that, because I know where I'm going. And even if you don't really 100% know where you're going yet, follow the breadcrumbs, follow the intuitive feelings along the way, follow your soul's guidance along the way, and just know that it's going to serve you and give you what you need on your soul path, and that you've got everything you need within, and it's not in other people. You don't need it from other people to rise you up. Yes, you can learn from them. Yes, you can get wisdom from them. Yes, you can get experience from them. Yes, you can absolutely take something out of that. But you've got everything you need within when you look deep enough to see it, and get rid of the limiting beliefs, get rid of the blocks that you need to work through. You will see your own true north. You will see your own shining star. You will see that sometimes being that bit of a lone wolf for a period is probably what you need to find yourself and to find your purpose, your passion, your tribe, what you're meant to do, and start to see the love and worth in yourself. And that is what I took out of that episode that I'm sharing with you in this episode. That is what I've taken out of this experience, and also the understanding that you haven't done anything wrong. There's nothing to blame. There's nothing to feel guilty about. That relationships and people sometimes fizzle out, sometimes go in their own separate ways, and accept it. Ride with it. Understand the season, reason, or lifetime, and know that nothing is your fault. There is absolutely nothing that you have done wrong. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Follow your true North Star and really discover that friendship within yourself. And that's what happened for me the last 2 years, as I started to look within myself. As instead of needing people outside of me, I turned to my oracle cards as being my best friend. I turned to soul, to spirit, to find and see parts of myself that I didn't see in myself. And I grew and I up-leveled and I shifted, and I started to see my worth by being my own best friend and being my own shining star, my own shining light, and learning that I have everything that I need within, and really connecting with those. We don't need a million people in our life. That close group, whatever it is for you, whether it's those couple of people, your loved ones, your family, your husband, your kids, your partner, whatever it is for you, just staying so close and holding on to them so tight, because I've seen that they have been along this journey of going through this process of change and shift and growth for myself over the last couple of years. They have been my biggest rock and my biggest supporter. And that's what can happen in friendships, girls, as we get older. Our kids grow older. You might have this circle of friends that you're with when the kids are at school, and then your kids get older and you drift in your own separate ways. that is okay. That is okay. Hold tight to those people closest to you. Hold tight to those people that you love dearly, but hold tight to that relationship with yourself, and see the light that shines bright within you. Start to develop that love for yourself and that worth in yourself, because you are born worthy. You have everything you need within. You have all of the divine wisdom, the intuition, everything you need. And the more that you develop that, the more you open up to that angelic realm, the more that you open up to the divine, the more that you open up to signs, to synchronicities, to connecting with nature. All of those things are going to rise you up, are going to empower you, and are going to help you find all those things that are already within you. I hope that helps, my friends. Have a beautiful rest of your day. I need to go pack. I've got a massive list of things to do, and I will see you soon, angels. So much love to you. Bye.